Well, good morning and welcome to the Hope Chronicles on Tuesday, the 7th of April. Well, I hope early in your morning you're having a good morning. I'm having my cup of tea. And as I start my day, I'm just reflecting on what me and my family have been watching for the last couple of days. Last night we watched Lord of the Rings Two Towers. We watched Fellowship of the Ring before that. We've watched the Hobbit trilogy before that. And it's really set me thinking about kind of the narrative that we see in a lot of our epic movies. And I wonder if you've ever thought about that. What we tend to see in so many epic movies is that there's a great evil and darkness that comes upon a group of people or the world. And then an unlikely hero arises. Someone unqualified, someone from obscurity, someone with an inherent problem why they couldn't be the hero. And then what happens, amazingly, is they start to rise up and evil comes again. But this person won't stop. They keep rising up. And eventually we get to the exciting moment in the movie when this unlikely hero overcomes darkness and wins victory for people that they can't win for themselves. The oppressed, the broken, the afraid live because the hero, the heroine of the movie, is successful against all the odds. And then at the end of the movie there's a scene of party and feast, and people walk into a hall, they get medals, people celebrate, and it's this wonderful time of peace and rest that has been won. I wonder if you ever noticed that. I wonder if you've ever stopped to reflect why that's so. Why do we see that theme played out so many times in so many movies? Where does that come from? Well, it comes from the fact that humanity knows that in the world we do face a great darkness, and we know in and of ourselves we cannot overcome it. We're the oppressed people. But we also deeply know that once there came this unlikely hero, a carpenter from Nazareth, a man who on face value looked to be nothing, and yet he was everything. He was God's son, and he overcame the darkness and allowed us into new life. And of course, the ending scene of the film is our reception in heaven, where it's the great supper of the Lamb. It's the festival of heaven. It's the reception of the saints in God's presence. And the challenge is that when we're in these times of coronavirus, we all have this sense that the darkness is pushing towards us again. And we know that we can't save ourselves. Our science can't save us. It can support life, but it can't defeat the virus at the moment. All the money that we have, the technology that we have, it can't defeat the darkness. And within ourselves, we know that there's something inherent in the story of Jesus Christ that offers us hope in a time of darkness. And the challenge is that so many people know of Jesus, they don't take him seriously, maybe don't reflect that he's a real figure in history, and they don't receive him, they don't welcome him. Let me read to you from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. So we are now in Holy Week. And in Holy Week we are about to celebrate that critical moment when light overcomes darkness. In this grand epic movie of humanity, we're at that point in the movie when darkness looks like it's going to win and light overcomes it. Jesus defeats sin and death and evil on the cross when he stretches out his arms and says, "Telestai, it is finished." He wins a way home for us to heaven, and he offers to us hope in a world that so often feels without it. In John chapter 8, Jesus says this, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." And I want to ask you this Easter, do you have the light of life that will shine out and push back the darkness in your world? This week, as we approach Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday, is an opportunity for us all to reflect on how seriously we take the offer from Jesus to be our light in this world. So I just want to ask you today, is Jesus the light of your world? Will you let him in? Will you let him shine light into every aspect of your life? Will you trust him with everything? And will you allow him to lead you through the cross, that light has victory over darkness? I can tell you with assurance, in these days you need not fear, for Jesus Christ is coming to draw you near. May God bless you and keep you this Holy Week. Amen.